I just spoke with a business owner with 250 employees in the restoration space, and he doesn't know if he's profitable or not. And I said, well, don't you have a bookkeeper? Don't you have accountants? Yeah. Don't you have a tax strategy lawyer advising you? Well, yeah. Then how is it possible that you don't know if you're profitable or not? Well, Leo, you got to understand, and it sounds like, he's giving me the excuses the accountants are giving him. Your insurance companies pay late, some invoices are outstanding and this and that and other excuses, and, we don't know where the hell we are. And this really makes my blood boil, because what's the point of having a bookkeeper, accountant, and tax strategy lawyer if you don't know where you stand? If you can't get, accurate statistical data so you can make informed business decisions, why are you paying 3 salaries? It doesn't make sense at all. But you would think this is an exception? No, it's not an exception. This is the rule. I've been analyzing and dissecting businesses now for 40 years. I would say out of thousands and thousands of companies we've looked at in the past 40 years, maybe five know their numbers. 5 would say, yes, we know our profit per employee as of last month. I know our profit per square foot. I know our profit per equipment dollar. I know everything about my business. 5 would be able to say that out of thousands of companies. So why the hell are you paying your bookkeepers and accountants? If you don't have accurate statistical data, there is absolutely no excuse why you don't have data. Even if the invoice is late, you still know what the invoice amount is, right? Why aren't you doing job costing? Why aren't you looking at every job to say, okay, we budgeted this, we got this, or we got this, whatever it is, but there's a budget and there's an actual. Why are we not comparing the two? Why aren't we doing cash flow projections? Why aren't we looking at overhead burden? And how are we applying overhead burden to each job? How many jobs are you going to do this year? Well, if you don't know, then that's a major problem. So, and I know the comments are going to be, it's the owner's fault. Well, after a while, it does become the owner's fault, because the owner should know what type of questions to ask. Right? But the problem is most business owners start by working with their hands and they grow their company. In this case, 250 employees, but he's still mentally, he's still in his garage working with his hands. And that's how he started. But, the infrastructure, the systems, the procedures, the software really don't change, because he's still operating as he's the owner with one helper. The mentality is still there, so it never changes. So when he hires a bookkeeper and he hires an accountant, he's really hiring an advisor, right? Because he doesn't know the questions to ask. He's just a guy that works with his hands and now has 250 helpers, but he's still a guy that works with his hands mentally. So, from my perspective, I have a very hard time blaming the owner, because the owner, from his perspective, he hired an expert to advise him. That's a bookkeeper, accountant, and tax strategy lawyer. So how can you blame someone who believes is hiring an expert? He doesn't know the right questions to ask. He doesn't. Because if he did, then he would hire someone who actually is going to do the work, right? And he doesn't know enough to hire, a management consultant like myself to set up the structure. It's only after years and years and years, and in this case, 25 years of mismanagement, people getting away with the M word. And finally, he watches some of my videos and say, yeah, I should be getting that. I should be expecting more, right? And now what's going to happen is, just like on the other case study, if you followed, we're going to have a group Zoom chat. I'm going to ask some questions, and the deadbeat people who've been collecting a salary are going to quit, because they know it's the end of the line. So even though I try and be polite, but how can you tolerate someone stealing? This is theft. Stealing for over 20 years. How can I keep my composure when you know someone is robbing the bank? How? So I'm supposed to be polite to the bank robber? Really? That's my job? But those are the comments you were giving me on the last case study that I posted, similar to this one, right? It's the owner's fault. No, bullshit. It's not the owner's fault. Yes, the owner takes, let's say, 10% responsibility, because he hired experts, right? If he hired me, then I let him down. It's not his fault. It's my fault. I'm the a-hole for letting him down. But I'm not going to let him down, because I'm going to tell him the truth, and I'm going to tell him what needs to be done. He needs to clean house. 250 employees are looking for direction. They're looking for leadership. They're looking to pay their mortgage next month. And if you don't know if you're profitable or not profitable, how are you making your employees secure in the fact that they're going to pay their mortgage next month? How do they know you're not going to go bankrupt? We owe, as business owners, we have a responsibility to our employees and our employees' families and their children to say, hey, you are secure. You devote your life to my company, and I will make you very successful, and I'm going to help you pay off your mortgage and your car and give you great quality of life. And I'm going to give you a 4-day work week, and I'm going to give you profit sharing, and I'm going to give you fast track to management program, and I'm going to give you all the training that you desire to get to the next level. That's what we owe our employees. How can we deliver that if our own experts, our bookkeepers and accountants, can't keep us informed as to what's happening in my company? It pisses the hell out of me, and these people should be jailed. It's clear theft. If you say you're going to do a job and you don't do a job and you still collect a paycheck, 100% of your paycheck, it's clear theft. Prove otherwise. If I say that I'm going to build you a bathroom, but I only rip out the tile and say, I'm done, I would be jailed. So why are bookkeepers and accountants allowed to get away with this type of theft? Yeah, and of course they're going to use excuses. Well, I'm really an office manager. I don't have any formal training. What's the excuse for the accountant? I don't have any formal training? Well, you're a CPA, for God's sakes. Why are you answering the phone? Why are you doing everything but your job? You should be fired and you should be in jail. And this is why we create services, because I'm sick and tired of watching my clients getting ripped off. This is not the exception. This is the rule. Business owners getting ripped off by bookkeepers and accountants is the rule. It's not the exception. If you find yourself in this situation, please type yes below. I know you're not the type to ask for help. Type yes below. It's the equivalent of asking for help, but you don't have to lose your ego to do it. It's time that we find some proper bookkeepers and accountants to give you the data. That's like you sitting at the back of the bus and expecting the bus to drive at 100 miles an hour and be perfectly okay. No, it's not. You need accurate data. Post yes below. We'll talk again soon. Take care.